Making sure I was recording. Um, Hair's disobeying and I'm wasting the first 10 seconds of the video trying to fix it. Sorry about that. Anyways, on to topic. Jeez, I get distracted easily. I'm going to talk about sensitive senses today. And I know I usually talk about issues and stuff, but I feel like talking about this, so I'm kind of... reason why is I just watched, or listened to Creep McPasta's narration of the creepypasta High Frequency. I'll put a link in the description for that, in which this guy gets like super hearing and he hears all the sounds all over the place, and eventually it drives him into suicide. Spoiler alert, sorry. Which kind of got me thinking about myself, because I do have very sensitive senses, most notably my sense of taste. There are a lot of foods I can't eat because I find everything to be too strong. Like, things that no one else considers spicy, I consider like my mouth on fire, and I can't have a lot of foods because it's too salty, or it's too strong, or just, I am stuck with what most people would consider a bland diet, but of course for me it's not bland at all, because of my super sensitive taste, and I'm like super whited out. Can't really see my face, and the sun is setting, so I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, sensitive camera. Anyway, so everyone thinks, it would be super awesome to have heightened senses, right? When really no, because the thing is that we hear at the frequency, at the level that we do for a reason. We have evolved to only need to hear that much, and if you can actually hone in your senses and make them stronger, especially not so much your sense of sight, because like for example, I usually wear glasses, because there's different parts of the eye responsible for different parts of sight. For example, the lenses, that part of my eye has gotten not very good quality anymore, or weaker. I'm not 100% sure, foggier, I don't know. Anyways, and so I can't see as well when it comes to details, like when I'm trying to read either far away or close up. It just gets too blurry and I can't see the details like that. But that part of my eye doesn't work very well. But mostly, apparently this is like creative artistic mind, and mostly because I've trained myself, apparently without realizing it. Since I'm an artist and I'm pursuing art, we're trained to look at the details, and how do we, like, almost like, I remember a friend describing, like, he had done this meditation thingy, and he said it was so cool, like I could pick up an object and like zoom in and see details super close, and I'm like, wait, people can't normally do that? Because like when I look at something, I can like look super close into it almost. Easier when I have my glasses on, obviously, to see the details, but I can almost like zoom in on stuff, not quite like extremely, but I can see the details of it better, and I can understand, and I like, most people I realize are very, tunnel vision. They don't notice their surroundings as much. Whereas me, I walk anywhere I go, I'm noticing all my surroundings like crazy. Again, apparently, I read this thing saying it was a part of the creative, artistic mind, is, to observe your surroundings, because the thing is, I'm a writer and an artist, so, I want to observe people and their behaviors for my writing. And then I also observe the way things look and act for my my drawing, for my drawing. And yes, I do comic books because that's a perfect blend of the two. But yeah, so it's interesting, and my sense of smell is really sensitive. Like, I hate people who wear perfume, even a little bit. I'm like, oh my god, stop it. And I hate going to Indian food places. First of all, I can't even eat any of the food there because it's too spicy for my stupid tongue. But also, like, just going in there, the smell of the super spicy food, it drives me nuts. And like, there's a lot of, and like, if someone has not showered that day, I can tell because I can smell. Like, it's kind of, because the thing is that my sense of taste and my sense of scent, since the two senses in general and everyone are very closely connected. Now, my sense of smell isn't nearly as strong as my sense of taste in comparison to everyone else, but yay, genetics. Apparently it's this rare thing that happens more often in women that causes you to gain extra taste buds and stuff. But also with my sense of hearing, I remember because the thing is that I find like my other senses, other than my sense of sight, other than the ways I explained, tend to be a little stronger, because I remember when I was a kid, I loved the Daredevil movie. Like, that was my favorite movie until I was like 13 and realized it was actually not that great of a movie. But as a kid, I loved that movie, and I was like, it's so cool that like he doesn't need to see and he can like, you know, use his other senses to figure thing around. So I started doing this thing when I was really young, where I would be walking somewhere familiar at least, and I would close my eyes and see if I could continue walking without losing my track or bumping into someone or whatever else. And I actually got pretty good at it at one point, and you know, I'm really good about navigating places in the dark because, you know, and I always like, and I still do this practice nowadays too. Is I'll still like I'll try closing my eyes, especially because my eyes are sensitive to light. Like I have to wear sunglasses if they're even if it's cloudy. I have like dimmer sunglasses and whatever else. So anyways, but like I'll even still do this practice, like when it's really sunny, I don't have my sunglasses, I'm just walking through a hallway where there's a window, I'll like close my eyes when I go through that, and I still have no problem. See, because when I was, you know, I wanted my sense of hearing to be super strong, so I would put my music down super low when I was a teenager. So I was like the one teenager not blasting their music into their ears. Anyway, so I would have it really low to kind of like get my hearing to strain more and to train it more. I was just doing this because I wanted to be like Daredevil as a kid, so but I ended up training my senses to be stronger, which I am paying for now, I guess, because as a teenager living, and I was living in the suburbs, so it wasn't really that bad that I had stronger senses, but they also got stronger as I got older as well, or I just got more sensitive to things, and I didn't, like, certain scents that didn't bother me before really bother me now, I don't know, because I'm an old lady, apparently. Anyways, um, you know, like, because I always have my headphones in when I'm out and about, and I'm downtown, like I live downtown, I would do everything downtown, and if I'm sitting next to someone and they don't like chew like the fucking like princess who went to boarding school and shit, I can hear it and it drives me nuts. I'll like, oftentimes I'll be at a dinner thing and I'll like have my finger in my ear like this, like, I hate the sound you're making and I can't stand buses because it's all, and I can hear all these noises, but I can't hear people talking clearly. I can't understand people, like I can hear them sometimes, but I can't understand what they're saying necessarily. Like it's like if I'm in a crowded, like if I'm in a noisy place and someone's trying to talk to me, I have no idea what they're saying. Like I can hear all these different noises, I can hear everything, but I can't pick out language. It just becomes noise when there's so much background noise I get distracted by. And apparently that's a common thing. Children are much better at zoning in on voices and everything else than adults. Adults tend to get distracted by the background noise, so I guess I'm extra mature because that's happening when I'm 21 instead of more towards like the 30s. But but anyway, but there's some people in the comments talking about, like, I would love to have super hearing and everything else, and other people are like, no, you wouldn't, and so it's just kind of saying, I have made this stupid long video about strong senses. As someone who has more sensitive senses than most people, because I train myself. You can train yourself to do it, because part of the reason I wanted to be Daredevil, so I was already trying, and then I heard somewhere that you can train yourself to do, because I remember it was after there was this blind woman who came into my class to talk about it and everything else, and I was like, why is she like not like Daredevil? Basically, like able to move around no problem, which there are some blind people, but she was really old and she lost her sight later in life. So she was having a lot more trouble moving around things, and she had to have her dog help her and everything else. And even then she was still having a little bit of trouble, but that was because of that, and I was like, oh, why is it? And then my mom told me, because she used to do, like, biochemistry and stuff like that, and biology and all that crap, she told me that, like, you can actually train yourself, and I'm like, dude, I'm training myself, I've already started, I'm gonna train myself, so. If you want to have super senses, you can train yourself. It works better when you do it from younger, because the older you get, the more damaged your, different things are, so it's, like, too late. But one thing, if you want to train your eyes, is wear sunglasses in the sun no matter what. Because I recently had an optometrist appointment, and apparently, I think it was my cornea, anyways, like that. She's like, it's actually abnormally thick, which is good because oftentimes people have trouble with it being too thin. And I was like, and I remember, and then later in the thing, she's like, you're putting these drops in your eyes to make your eyes dilate. So she was like, oh, by the way, you're going to need sunglasses outside even though it's cloudy. I'm like, I already do that. And she's like, oh. And I can't remember. I was really tired that day. I can't remember if she told me or if I just made the conclusion myself that part of the reason why my eyes are stronger and not as damaged as most people is because I keep them protected from the sun all the time. Because the sun will burn your eyes out. And yeah, this video is 10 minutes. I'm retarded.